Hi, and welcome to the Sabbath Christian Church's online sermon. That was a bad time for the demons. The Son of Man had come. They knew that this was going to happen someplace along the line. Now it was here, and they had to stop this Son of Man. And God allowed the demons to tempt him and see what would happen. The demons knew they could win. So Satan tried every con, trick, and temptation against Jesus, Son of Man. He said to him, turn these stones to bread. So the first temptation, hungry. I mean, people will do anything for food. And he was so many days. He was hungry. He's getting hungrier. And Jesus said to him, not by bread alone. All right. Temptation 1. And then he said to him, look at all the domains of the world that are out there. All this can be yours. You can own everything there. And this is one of the things that Jesus had in mind, to become the ruler. His heritage, David, and going all the way back to Noah, and to rule the world. Temptation, major temptation. And Jesus said to him, you will worship and serve God alone. Forget about all these kingdoms and everything else. First comes to first to worship his Father in heaven, God alone. And then he said to Jesus, well, go ahead. Let's see how powerful you are. Let's see what you can do. Suppose you throw yourself down here from this high temple that they brought him to. And Jesus said to him, forget about it. He says, don't put God to the test. Said the angels will catch him. They would. But don't put God to the test. The last thing you did. The demon said, okay, we didn't get Jesus. Let's get our workmen and see what we can do to others. The most dangerous time for those evil spirits. So they attacked and possessed many people around him. After being tested, as all must, as we know, by the evil spirits, Jesus battled them and saved the possessed from the evil ones, because that's what they sent them out. Possess these people. Get to work on it. Evil spirits who inhabited the bodies of men in part to give Jesus the opportunity to free them from evil. God gave them the opportunity, and they were brought to justice. And they brought a boy to him. When he saw him, immediately the spirit threw him into convulsion, and falling to the ground, he began rolling around and foaming at the mouth. Okay, here we go. Take this boy, hurt him, have convulsions, foaming at the mouth. Let's see what you're going to do about that. And Jesus rebuked and commanded the demon to leave the boy, which it did. Heal the boy as well from being thrown to the ground and everything. Boy was fine, 100%. Demon gone, away from the person. Try again. When evening came, they brought to him many who were possessed, demon-possessed, and he cast out the spirits with a word and healed all that were ill. Seems to be a connection here between being ill and being demon-possessed, because God gets rid of illnesses. In Luke 6:18 it says, who had come to hear him and be healed of their diseases. Those who were troubled with unclean spirits were being cured. And there was so Jesus took care of the other more people who were made ill and sick with from the unclean spirits and possessed. And Luke 13:11 says there was a woman who for 18 years, had 18 years, had a sickness caused by a spirit, and she was bent double and could not straighten up at all. And Jesus freed her. After 18 years, the demon thought he had this and its power. Not with Jesus. He passed the test. Now he could go out and help and heal. Luke 9:42 says, while he was still approaching, the demon slammed him to the ground and threw him into a convulsion. Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the boy, gave him back to his father. Acts 5:16. Also the people of the city in the vicinity of Jerusalem were coming together, bringing those who were sick or afflicted by an unclean spirit, and they were healed. Jesus passed on his power to those of his apostles and followers. And 8:7 says, for in the case of many who had unclean spirits were coming out at them, shouting with a loud voice, many who had been paralyzed and lame were healed, were taken care of. And Mark 9:17 says, one of the crowd answered him, teacher, I brought you my son, possessed with a spirit that makes him mute. And Jesus healed and freed him. In every instance, in every time, when they brought him a evil spirit possessing and or had them diseased, he took care of them. And Matthew 12:45, then it goes and takes along with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the last state of that man became worse than the first. That is the way it will be with all this evil generation. Unless they believe in Jesus and trust in him and go to him for healing and being freed from being possessed. Luke 10:20, nevertheless, do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rejoice that your names are recorded in heaven. See, even then, yes, they have this power to heal from God. And Jesus is not as in rejoicing in that for them, although he wants these people to be freed. But the important thing is that God has taken them into his possession. Revelation 16:14 says, for they are spirits of demons performing signs which go out to the kings of the whole world. Look at the whole world possessed the way people might think that it is to be possessed. How many in the world keep the 10 Commandments? Gathering them together for war of the great day of God the Almighty in the future. And in another case, in Luke 4:33, in the synagogue there was a man possessed by a spirit of an unclean demon, and he cried out with a loud voice, let us alone. What business do you have to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God. He was the Holy One of God because God adopted him. But Jesus rebuked him, saying, be quiet and come out of him. When the demon had thrown himself down in the midst of the people, he came out of him without doing him any harm. The evil spirits have had their Armageddon, and they have not won. Matthew 12:43 says, now when the unclean spirit goes out of a man, it passes through the waterless places, seeking rest, and does not find it. Jesus saved them and sent the spirits on their way. Amen. And thank you for watching and listening.